Alex. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Nice to meet you, Alyssa.
Yes, you too. And I'm so excited to talk to you, especially because it's opening day. It's very exciting. So it's so great to meet you. I would first love to know how you got to this point of working with Lysol and, what excited you about this opportunity.
Yeah, so Lysol reached out to me a few months ago and uh, kind of talked to me about this idea about celebrating all clubhouse managers, which I thought was a great idea because they are the unsung heroes in these locker rooms, right? And along the process, I learned that Lysol laundry sanitizer kills 99% of odor-causing bacteria in laundry. And that was really good because, the pinstripe, we would get really stinky.
Yeah. Of course. Oh, that's so great. And I know as a retired athlete, like staying healthy is super important to you. And I wanted to know, are there any kind of rituals that you have to keep up with, from being an athlete for so long? Like, what does your wellness routine look like these days?
Yeah, I try to do everything in the morning before noon. My routine is like I focus on my health and wellness before noon. And then I'm at my office here in Miami from noon to 6 every day. And then what I've been doing in the mornings is I've been introducing some intermittent fasting. And then I try to get to the gym 6 or 7 days a week, at least for an hour, just to break a sweat. Even on days that I don't get to the gym, I try to go for like an hour walk or something and listen to some podcasting. Then I come home, I do my cardio, I do my lifting, and then I do maybe a little meditating and just try to spend a little alone time, quiet time. And then I get to the office. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, and you mentioned podcasting. I know you have your own podcast and it really shows another side of you that I feel like not a lot of people know is you're very interested in business investing. And I was curious what made you want to hop onto a podcast and talk to people about those things?
Yeah, growing up, I grew up with the three major sports in America, which are baseball, basketball, and football. And I think for young people like yourself and others, that the fourth sport is really this intersection between sports, music, culture, and entertainment. And we're bringing some great icons, both in the world of athletes and in the world of business around sports, like Maria Sharapova, like Mark Shapiro, who's the president of Endeavor and WME, who they just took TKO public. He talked extensively about that, which is very, very interesting. And also Serena Williams, the lessons learned, from her father, who was a great mentor and teacher to both of them. Some of the tough losses and some of the tough wins, and then what lessons has she brought from being the GOAT in tennis to really a prolific business investor who has a track record that it's really impressive, and you hear more about it when you get to hear it on the deal for Bloomberg.
That's so wonderful. Just two sports greats talking to each other. That's so cool. And I know that you also are in the process of acquiring the Minnesota Timberwolves, which is also really cool. You're really dipping into everything these days. What led up to this decision and what made you want to acquire the Timberwolves specifically?
Yeah, so it started probably 4 years ago. We were fairly close we took a good run at trying to buy the Mets. And my partner, Mark Laurie, and we came up second to Steve Cohen. And that was a blessing in disguise. And then other opportunities started coming after that. And then when this one came with the Wolves and the Lynx, Mark and I jumped at it and we were very excited. And we continue to be very excited about the NBA, the WNBA, which is fantastic and just getting started. And both of them are both global sports that are growing and with tremendous leadership.
Amazing. Yes. And it's really important to bring attention to the WNBA. So that's awesome. And I also wanted to do like a little bit more sports talk with you. My home team is actually the Phillies. So I'm sure you know the Phillies have been through a lot, like with a lot of sudden setbacks the past two seasons. So I'd be curious to know what your thoughts are about the month of April and how important you think it is to, get off to a good start, especially for a team like the Phillies.
Yeah, I think for Phillies and for other teams that are trying to get their mojo back, I think April and May are super important. I always thought that the first 2 months of the season, especially the first month, was the most important because it set the tone for the rest of the year. I always found it hard that if you dug yourself too deep of a hole, you're kind of working behind the eight ball year and it's working uphill. So I think for the Phillies is paramount that they get off to a really good start, that they remain healthy. They have a great coach in Rob Thompson and hitting coach and Kevin Long. Those were my guys in '09 when we won the championship. And I just think I love their ownership. I think they have a great front office and they're ahead of the game. I would expect 100 wins from the Phillies this year.
Oh, I hope so too. And I'd love to know your thoughts about like, are there any players that you've been watching, maybe like some rookies or anybody coming in that you think really deserve a lot of attention this year and that have caught your eye?
Honestly, like there's so many great players under the age of 25 in baseball. I feel like is the golden age. So not one that sticks out, but I mean, even if you think about Julio Rodriguez, Acuna, Shohei Ohtani, and then from team's perspective, there's about half a dozen that really intrigue me. Both Texas team, the Rangers and Astros, the teams in the coast with Dodgers, Phillies, and Braves and then everybody's kind of on pins and needles to see how the Red Sox and Yankees, answer the call from down years last year.
Oh, that's so great. And my last question for you is kind of tying together our conversation about health. So I wanted to know if you have any of like maybe some health tips that you want to give to like maybe athletes that are around my age, kind of younger athletes, or maybe some people like some good practices to keep up or anything.
Are you a teenager? How old are you?
I'm 22.
Okay, so I wish I was 22. I don't know if I have any advice. That was such a long time ago. But I could just say the generic stuff, right? Like, stuff that we hear from our parents, like make sure you eat, sleep 8 hours, make sure you stay hydrated and drink plenty of water. Try to break a sweat at least 30 minutes a day, every day, and try to have a balanced nutrition where you're having enough protein, good carbs, and taking your vitamins.
Yeah. Well, I know you just dropped off your daughter at college. So I know that you like that's a big milestone and I'm sure you had a lot of emotions there. Like what were some things that you told her just about like being healthy overall, like like being away from home for the first time? Like I know that's probably a big change for her.
Yeah, I love what I just told you. I mean, it's really about having a routine and staying consistent with it.
Yeah.
And it's not about like killing yourself and working out 3 hours a day. Like to me, that's just not even sustainable. But it's just really about trying to go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time, try to break a sweat either in the gym or go for a lot like nice long walk. And then make sure that you're eating a balanced diet and not overthink it too much. I think mental health is just as important as physical health.
Absolutely. Well, Alex, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And, you know, I'm so excited for everybody to see your commercial with Lysol.
Thank you, and my pleasure. And I hope you enjoy the podcast.
Yes, yes, thank you.